If you like storytime vibes, hit subscribe and let's dive in together.
You ever feel someone slipping away from you so slowly that you can't even tell when it began? Like sand leaking through your fingers, grain by grain, until you look down and realize your hand is empty. That's how it was with my wife. We had been married for 2 years. 2 beautiful, chaotic, ordinary years. At least that's what I thought. But lately, she had become a stranger, living under the same roof. The woman who once filled every room with laughter now moved like a shadow. Dinners turned into quiet rituals. She used to tell me about every detail of her day, the annoying coworker, the funny meme she saw online. But now she just poked at her food, murmuring, "I'm fine," whenever I asked. Her eyes never met mine for more than a second, and when they did, there was something else there, something that looked a lot like fear. At first, I told myself it was just stress. Everyone gets distant sometimes, right? But nights turned into weeks, and the silence between us became a living thing. Thick, suffocating, whispering doubts I couldn't silence. I'd catch her staring at her phone, fingers trembling slightly before she'd lock the screen the moment I walked in. She even took it into the bathroom. Who does that? I wanted to believe her, I really did. But the seed of doubt had already been planted, and it was growing roots deep inside me. I began to question everything. Her late nights, her sudden quietness, even the way she smiled. It wasn't real anymore. I started scrolling through her social media, reading every comment twice, analyzing every post for hidden meanings. I hated myself for it, but I hated not knowing even more. And that's when the paranoia began to eat me alive. It happened on a Thursday night. She lay beside me, facing away, her shoulders tense. The soft glow from her phone screen lit the room just enough for me to see her expression. Blank, unreadable. "Is something wrong?" I asked. "You've been different lately." A pause, then a quiet, "I'm fine. Please, can we not talk about it?" That was it. No warmth, no explanation, just a wall. I remember staring at the ceiling that night, feeling anger boil under my skin. My mind became a storm of questions with no answers. Was there someone else? Had she fallen out of love? I wanted to shake her, make her speak, make her see me again. But instead, I lay there, silent, suffocating in the distance. By morning, I'd made up my mind. If she didn't love me anymore, I wouldn't beg. I would end this with whatever dignity I had left. Divorce, it sounded like poison, but it also sounded like escape. I started sleeping on the far edge of the bed, stopped texting her during the day. Our conversations died, replaced by polite nods and mechanical goodnights. Every moment we shared felt like a funeral for something that used to be alive. I convinced myself I was ready to walk away, but I had no idea that the truth I was running from would shatter everything I thought I knew about her and about myself. It was a rainy morning when it happened. I came home early from work because the power had gone out at the office. I opened the door quietly, planning to surprise her with breakfast, but then I heard her voice. She was in the bedroom, speaking softly. Her tone was fragile, trembling. I froze at the doorway, heart pounding. "Mom," she whispered, "I don't know what to do. I'm pregnant." The words hit me like a gunshot. My knees nearly gave out. Pregnant? My wife? Pregnant? She kept talking, her voice shaking. "I haven't told him yet. He's been so distant. I'm scared, Mom. What if he doesn't want this? What if I can't be a good mother? What if this ruins everything?" And that's when I realized how completely wrong I'd been. All the nights I'd spent drowning in suspicion, building walls, imagining betrayal. She wasn't hiding another man. She was hiding her fear. Fear of disappointing me. Fear of not being enough. Fear of bringing a life into a world where she already felt unloved. I leaned against the wall, gasping for air. The guilt was suffocating. I'd been planning to leave her while she was carrying our child. I don't remember how long I stood there. Seconds, minutes, maybe hours. the sound of rain outside mixed with the trembling of my own breath. Then I did the only thing I could think of. I knocked. She froze when I entered. Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the bed with a soft thud. Her eyes, red, terrified, darted toward me. "I heard you," I said quietly. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she broke. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she buried her face in her hands. "I didn't know how to tell you," she sobbed. "I was scared. Scared you'd be angry, that you wouldn't want this baby. Scared of being a bad mother." I walked toward her slowly, my heart splitting open with every word. The anger I'd carried for weeks vanished in an instant. What replaced it was something far heavier: guilt, love, and an overwhelming need to hold her. I sat beside her and took her hands. They were cold, trembling. "Hey," I whispered, "you don't have to go through this alone. You hear me? We'll figure it out. Together." Her eyes widened, disbelief flashing through them. Then she let out a sound, half laugh, half sob, and collapsed into my arms. For the first time in months, I felt her warmth again. Her heartbeat against my chest, her tears soaking my shirt. And in that moment, something shifted. The silence between us finally cracked. Not with words, but with truth. That night, we talked for hours. She told me how she'd found out, how she'd been sick but too afraid to tell me, how she'd convinced herself I would see her as weak. I told her how I doubted her, how I'd let my fear twist into poison. We cried, we apologized, we forgave, and for the first time, the air in our home didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt clean, fragile, but real. The weeks that followed felt like learning to breathe again. Every morning, I woke up before her just to watch her sleep. The faint rise and fall of her chest, the way her fingers curled lightly under the pillow. I realized how close I'd come to losing everything. One misunderstanding, one silence too long, and our marriage would have become another sad story about love turned sour. She started opening up again, little by little. She'd smile when I made coffee, laugh when I burned toast. We began eating dinner together again, sometimes in silence, but a comfortable silence this time, the kind that feels like safety. There were moments of fear still, doctor's appointments, nights when she couldn't sleep, mornings when nausea hit hard, but we faced them together. I remember the first time I felt our baby kick beneath my hand. It was a tiny flutter, like the brush of a butterfly's wing, but to me, it was thunder, a promise, a reminder that everything we'd endured led to this. Life, fragile and real, forming from the chaos we once drowned in. She looked at me then, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you for staying." And I realized it wasn't just her who had been scared. I'd been scared too. Scared of failure, of love fading, of not being enough. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's staying even when fear tells you to run. Now, months later, as I sit beside her at the hospital waiting for our baby to arrive, I keep thinking about that day. The day I almost walked away. If I hadn't overheard her that morning, I might have signed those papers, packed my things, and destroyed everything we'd built. It's terrifying how fragile love can be. How silence, if left unchecked, can kill what even betrayal cannot. I look at her now, hair messy, face tired, but glowing in a way I can't describe. She catches me staring and smiles weakly. That same smile that once felt forced now feels like home. And I realize something I should have known all along. Love isn't tested when things are easy. It's tested in the moments when everything falls apart and you still choose to stay. Sometimes the truth doesn't break you. It saves you. And if there's one lesson I'll carry for the rest of my life, it's this. Never assume silence means distance or fear means betrayal. Sometimes the person you love most just needs you to listen before they can find the courage to speak.